my kitchen. So the theme is tomatoes and not wasting the harvest. So this is not the last of the tomatoes, but these are all looking kind of getting there, kind of spent, a little on the soft side, but all still good. That one has a little bit of spot on it. We're gonna cut that off. My roasting pan's out, avocado oil's handy, salt, pepper, that's really it. I'm gonna put it in a hot oven, but I'm roasting these off to make, and this is actually for supper tomorrow. I've already got some chicken, so come on over to my crock pot. It's not really a crock pot, it's an Instant Pot with a crock pot lid. And we will have affiliate links beneath this video so that you can buy this. But anyway, have a look in there. So that is a pack of drumsticks from Costco, organic, cheap, $9. Usually 15 to 17 drumsticks. I threw about 10 tomatoes that were little in there. They're called money makers. Those babies never stop. Anyway, this is my ripening zone. We had about 10 times this many tomatoes, but this is all we're down to, and I've thinned through them. And what I did is I went through and pulled out what was soft. These are still firm. Oh, I missed that one. Sarah, hello. Anyway, we're just pulling them out, using them. I have not lost but maybe one tomato, which makes me super happy. This is the way my grandfather used to harvest things. He would throw them all still on the vine, and as much as you can, if you can leave the stem on, they'll keep ripening. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do, and I've already got another video where I showed you how we roasted some tomatoes off that I put on my pizza, and I roast it with garlic. So I'll throw a few garlic in this. So in a moment, I'll have Rachel come back over here and I'll show you how I'm gonna pull it all together. But I've already got another video that will probably be part of this video. I'm not positive because beloved daughter has not edited it yet. But we're going to just chop up these tomatoes, throw some oil with them, a little bit of seasoning. I'll throw a few heads of garlic, cloves of garlic. I'll probably chop them in half or something and let them roast at a pretty hot oven, like 400, 425, and let them roast till they're caramelized and dehydrated. And then tomorrow, I will finish this, so I should have a different outfit on. This is just like grunge outfit, but it's like one of my favorite shirts. Thank you, Melissa. You're the one that gave me this like years ago, and it's like falling apart. But anyway, I'll have a different outfit on because we will finish the soup then. So the bone broth is going for about 5 hours. You can let it go a little bit longer, but I've got tomatoes in there, garlic in there, veggie scraps in there. It's going to be a homemade bone broth roasted tomato soup. Help me Jesus, it's gonna be delicious. So I'll finish this off and I'll see you tomorrow, but I'm gonna show you real quick how I'm gonna prep these over here. So Rachel's going to follow me over, or you're gonna stop it and edit it back in and splice it? That is the question. You gonna walk with me? All right, come around. So we don't make everybody dizzy. All right, so this is super simple. I mean, literally, you're just gonna, that was for the potatoes. That's supper tonight. Okay, so, and this is how I roll. This is why Adam and Leslie were ready for me and the Lord was ready, because I do have content. And I don't even know that I think I have content. I just know the Lord knew I had more content, and so did Leslie, Adam's beautiful wife, that's on the Goshen page. So if you are over here and you've never met the Goshen folks, we are part of the Goshen team, but definitely go over to Goshen Farm and Gardens if you want to learn anything about sustainable living and homesteading and kuni pigs and adoption, because we are part of the adoption movement. And Midwest Meanderings is too. So, but Goshen, that is their vision. Heart of Goshen, I highly recommend that video. Oh my gosh, it's probably my favorite video on the whole page. And some of the stuff hasn't had a good update recently because the vision is bigger than we thought, right? But it's beautiful. So anyway, I'm gonna whack out these tomatoes. My knife sharpener is at my real house, somewhere in a pod, packed up. And I'm just gonna keep chopping these babies away. I'll give you a little before as it goes into the oven. Oh, and I should go ahead and put the garlic in, because I want you to see what I'm gonna do. It's nothing fancy. And that's how I bag my garlic. When you buy good garlic and you've peeled it yourself, you do not want that baby going bad. So all I'm gonna do is just chop them in half. And that's just so they can all kind of roast evenly. Pardon that bang. Oh, that was my celery for juicing tomorrow. We have a Veggie Shots video. You should check that out too on our playlist, the juicing video. So we will be juicing some celery tomorrow. So anyway, that's all we're gonna do is put all this together, chop it up really good, and basically evenly. We want it even, just because we want it to roast. And honestly, cut side down is ideal, but I don't go crazy with that, but that's really when you get the caramelization. And then I'll kind of shimmy them a little bit halfway through. So I'll show you just before we pop it in the oven, and then I'm gonna show it to you as we pull it out. And then we're gonna use self-control and not eat it, and we're gonna save it to go with that pot of lovely bone broth over there. And the chicken I'll save for something else. So tomorrow's gonna be a vegetarian night. So we're gonna have paninis, and we're going to have homemade bone broth tomato soup. So it's not quite vegetarian. Like if you really wanted to make it strictly vegetarian, then you would buy some Irish sea moss. You can buy it yourself and wash it 15 times. I've not done it. I have some, and I had intended to try it, but I got intimidated by all the videos that I watched. I was like, what in the heck? This is like a whole different process. So anyway, you can buy Irish sea moss gel. A friend of mine who is vegan told me about that. But that's a great way to get collagen in your diet if you are a plant-based eater. I am a heavy plant-based eater, but bone broth is here to stay. I was vegetarian for 10 years, vegan for 10 years as far as dairy. We started adding a little bit of clean meat back in at some point. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on chopping. I'm gonna show you what it looks like before it goes in and what it looks like when it comes out, and then we'll do the finale of bone broth roasted tomato soup. Thanks for dropping in. God bless you. So honestly, we moved angles because the sunset over here is like super breathtaking. And this is part of our meanderings. My house is getting fixed. And this is where the insurance company, they didn't pick this place, but they gave me an allowance. And I used the whole allowance. So anyway, we've been here for almost 3 weeks. This should be at least one video that's gonna be shot from here. I don't know, we may make this into 2 videos, I'm not sure. Anyway, so here we go. It's all, let's get all these drippings in because they're gonna all be hydrated and caramelize. All that sugar is going to caramelize. All right, so we're just gonna put a very generous amount of some avocado oil, which is a high temp oil. You can use whatever you're using. That's gonna probably be easily about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Yeah. And then very generous with salt, probably about a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half, that's your half. And then a nice dusting, probably about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, only because my husband is not a big fan of pepper. I actually take pepper in a capsule form and I add pepper to just about everything. But tomato soup is one of his favorites. And so this is all we're doing. We're gonna toss this together. That salt's actually gonna draw out no runaways. And these look like they're not ripe. I'll let Rachel do a close-up on that. But that is a tie-dye tomato that I got from Rare Seeds or Baker Creek. It's one of my favorite places to get tomato seeds that we grew from seed. We started in February under grow lights. All right, so that is it. And like I said, cut side down is really nice because you really get some crazy caramelization because all that moisture that's coming out of the tomato kind of reconstitutes back in that tomato. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like that with butternut squash too. If you roast them, cut them in half, and roast them cut side down, they do something magical. All right, I think we're about there. Probably could have put a few more garlic in there, but when I caramelize my onions for this soup tomorrow, I'll probably cook some onions in too. So now this is going in the oven, so this is the beauty. Isn't that pretty? So that is going in the oven, and I'm gonna show it to you when it comes out. All right, these lovely tomatoes are fresh out of the oven. They are delicious. They look almost overdone, but they are not. That's actually caramelization. So yummy. And the garlic is just right. Yum. So that's gonna get put in the blender. All right, so we've got our roasted tomatoes in there. This is the bone broth. I'm gonna blend those roasted tomatoes, and I pulled some of the garlic from, all right, and I know we should use a lid, but we don't. So we're gonna buzz that up, and that's gonna be the base for our soup. And it's going to be a roasted tomato bone broth soup. Cream up, so we're gonna put some heavy cream in there, but you could totally put cashew cream in there. So honestly, I could just eat that with a spoon right now. Delicious. So stay tuned. Okay, so this is just a quickie. This is just a store-bought, healthier pizza, low carb. We use it all the time. This is a sausage variety. But we usually do, like, you could just do a cauliflower crust and add a little bit of tomato sauce. This one just happens to already have sausage and a very little amount of cheese. My family likes cheese, so we're gonna definitely add more. All I did was grate a little bit of grass-fed cheese. That's right here. I'm gonna add that in a moment, but right now we're gonna add all that goodness. So this is all the roasted tomato that I just put in a mason jar, and I'm gonna put it on pretty thick because our family adores this. So I'm gonna use this whole 12-ounce jar for this one pizza. But I assure you, we had tomatoes coming out our ears this year. If we hadn't have, then this would be something we would have to yearn for in a year where we have an abundance of tomatoes. But abundance of tomatoes is what we had. And so seriously, I have done this every single week since July, the beginning of July, because I planted my tomatoes super early and kind of put a covering over them so they would survive the little flashes of cold that we had. All right, so that's all on there. And I mean, I'm serious, like the flavor. My husband's like, you don't have to put meat on any pizza if you put roasted tomatoes on it. And he's a carnivore, okay? I could be easily a vegetarian the rest of my days, but not this guy. And then literally, this is all we do. Throw a little bit of extra grass-fed cheese on top. And this goes in a super hot oven. And I mean, the smells in this kitchen and the flavors, and I mean, my husband is a picky guy, but kid you not, this is something he just loves. So he feels very cared for. And this is a veggie night normally. Like, honestly, this is a sausage that's plant-based, and it's not like full of soy. So it actually is still vegetarian, but I didn't want to mention that because some people think that's kind of weird. I just bought it for my girls because they love sausage pizza, but most sausage pizzas are full of junk. So this is going in a hot oven. You just follow the box directions, and you have a roasted tomato, grass-fed cheese, lovely pizza. There we go. And voila, roasted tomato pizza. It's delish, trust me.